You can't say the name DJ Red Alert without also mentioning the word legendary. This man right here has literally created his own path in hip-hop history, breaking artists in the game for the first time. Old school heads, enjoy the ride. New school heads, take notes, because I'm about to bring you this exclusive interview with DJ Red Alert. Thank you so much for being a part of this interview right now, taking the time to sit down with me. I really, truly appreciate it. I'm honored.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So first and foremost, I know you just celebrated the 41st anniversary of Zulu Nation in New York, which is a huge accomplishment. How do you feel about, that celebration, and why do you think it's so important to give back to the community and teach the youth about hip-hop history?
Well, all praise due to the almighty universal Zulu Nation 41 years anniversary. Matter of fact, a lot of our fellow Ikees and Queens from Chicago and also came to New York City for that weekend last week. It's very important because it's the culture. It's not just the music, it's the culture that consists of everything. Knowledge, self-born, expression, everything that make you feel good about yourself and make you learn to develop into the next kind of whatever it is for you as well as your family. Many of people don't understand that the Zulu Nation have embraced all different genders, different nationalities from all around the world to learn how to come across through the vibe that we give when it comes to different music, art, all different forms, break dancing, graffiti, as well as DJing, MCing, learn how to become an entrepreneur, learn all different matters.
Every single element for every single person.
Very much so. And that's why we want to keep on showing that we can bring this to the youth. The youth can go ahead and embrace this just as well. And because nowadays we're in a viral world where a lot of people is being distracted with the nonsense that's going on online, and they feel that that's the way to go. No. There's another side. And we don't take time to show that, guess what? We'll lose them. I mean, if we get a handful, good, because that handful will start multiplying to many others down the road.
That's amazing. Very well said. Thank you. So, speaking of 41st anniversary, you just also mentioned that you're about to turn 58, I believe. 58. So, you have such a wealth of hip-hop knowledge and all that stuff. What has inspired you after all these years to continue making music a business?
Well, there's something you love to do and something you love to continue with. You learn how to embrace it in the right manner, not only for you, but also for your family. Make it a career. I had no idea I was going to go this far, but it's meant to be, you let it be. And you continue with it. And I can't ask for nothing else better. Here it is, I was saying earlier, while we were chatting amongst each other, that 2 turntables took me around the world. As here it is, my father, rest in peace, in order for him to see the world, he had to be in the service. He was in the Navy to get to see the world. Thankful that he came back after the World War, but still in awe. I get to go ahead and embrace it and travel with it and still entertain as well as educate everybody all around the world.
That's truly a blessing. That's a blessing to be able to fulfill your passion and do that for work. So, speaking of the music industry, what's the #1 hardest lesson that you had to learn on your own about the music industry?
Learn to discipline yourself instead of others discipline you, because their discipline is far different from disciplining yourself. They discipline you according to how they can utilize you and work you and water you down. And before you know it, they got everything out of you, wash your hands, pass you up.
Wow.
I mean, these are things you have to learn to face, just like life. If you gotta learn the do's and don'ts, the no's, the yes, everything all together. I would never discourage anybody from getting in the music business, but I would go ahead and warn them how to be aware, because when you get in the music business, you stargaze because it's something that you enjoy, you sing, and you love, and all of a sudden and all of a sudden that you get caught out there in the trap.
Yeah.
And have no idea.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So what's the one thing that you've noticed? I mean, other than the equipment that you use, because obviously that's a huge deal from the past to the present day equipment that you use, but what's the number one thing that you think is missing from the art of DJing and possibly even radio over the years? What's missing in today's DJing and radio?
The integrity and the passion. The integrity to go forth to build and create and to master your craft, and the passion of what it got you to be there in the beginning. Saddened that we are now living in a world that everything is for the dollar.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand. We must make a living. And like I said earlier, I love what I do, but I don't do it for nothing. Because, I have to take care of myself and take care of my family, and that's why you make a career. But understand what you're stepping into and how important it is what you're stepping into for people before you, during your time, and what's going to be like after you.
Yeah. So one more question, because you're speaking about supporting your family and how important family is and that work-life balance. So you obviously have a genetic reputation for creating incredible music and hip-hop. You have some famous relatives as well. Do you think that legacy in your family tree is going to continue in hip-hop? Because I know you got a little DJ Red Alert, so is that going to continue over the years, you think? You think you're going to continue that gene on?
Well, it's funny that you say that. This is what I learned. In the beginning, before I became a DJ, in the early 70s, my mother's sister, which is my aunt, she was an opera singer.
Oh, wow.
She was an opera singer in Metropolitan Opera. And then, afterwards, my older brother, he wasn't into the entertainment, but he was more known for playing basketball. He made a name for himself. And I used to play basketball, but I got into DJing. After me, the next person that got involved with the business is my nephew, which is my sister's son.
Right.
His name is Mike G of the Jungle Brothers.
Yes, we're familiar with that name, most definitely.
Yeah, and then, right along with the rest of the Jungle Brothers and the rest of the native tongue.
Yeah.
And right now, the latest person that's involved is my younger son. He go by the name of G Mills. He's the newest artist that's now doing this thing, and they call him the baby of the native tongue.
Wow, that's incredible. I love to hear stories like that about the family pursuing the same passion. That's really important. Thank you so much for just meeting with me, taking this time to interview with me, and speak the real talk and the history of hip hop. It's so important for everybody to learn where the roots in hip hop came from. Thank you so much for being a part of this interview right now.
All the best to you and everybody out there that's listening.
Thank you. Special shout out to Hip Hop 305 and to Good Vibes Entertainment for putting this together, and salute to all the supporters and fans of real hip hop.